So, hello everyone. Will to celebrate our champions and also to let them share their successful experience. Found about the CFA Research Challenge. It is a challenge that is done globally every year between the universities and around 12,000 students around the world participate from 120 countries. KFUPM has accomplished good pieces through the years with its outstanding students. And for the record, the KFUPM record national championship in 2017 and 2019 and also in 2021. And they got the sub-regional championship in MENA in 2021. Also, they got in 2018 national run-up, as well as the MENA championship. So this year, KFUPM won first place by the effort of the amazing championships that we have here today, and also with the guidance and mentorship of Dr. Naji Alshafe, the chairman of Accounting and Finance Department. With an honor, I would like to welcome all of you here from Awadh Aljuraib and Rafe Naseem, Abdulaziz Al-Shaikh, and also Abdalmohsin Althagafy and Alsaleh to share their experience. So I'll give you the mic to give us a little introduction about yourself and to share with us your presentation.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. Thank you for the great introduction. My name is Abdulaziz Al-Shafe. I'm a KFUPM graduate. I graduated last semester, majoring in finance. Go on, guys.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Rafe Naseem. I'm also a finance graduate. I just graduated this December. I am also a finance graduate. I've met my teammates before and yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Abdalmohsin. I'm currently doing my co-op, and hopefully it's my last semester at the university, which I will really will miss, especially Dr. Naji. And the floor is for you, Awadh.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you. Awadh, I'm a finance student doing such a great team and great mentor.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Alsaleh. I'm a senior finance student who will graduate this semester, inshallah.
Thank you, guys. So, I suggest we start with the presentation. Can you go on, Rafe? And afterwards, we'll move on to the discussion and the Q&A afterwards.
Sure.
So go on, Rafe.
Okay. Let me just check. Okay. Good evening, everyone. The King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals team presenting our coverage. Let's begin with a brief company description. HMG is the largest private healthcare provider in the GCC with a primary focus in Saudi Arabia. HMG generated 5 billion Saudi riyals in revenues in 2019 through its hospitals, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare solutions segments. HMG's primary customers are privately insured, cash-paying, and government-referred patients. In order, they charge a higher price compared to local competitors. Since the IPO 1 year ago, HMG's stock price has increased by 136%. We issue a sell recommendation with a target price of 85.2 Saudi riyals per share representing a 28% downside from the closing price of 118.6 Saudi riyals as of March 14, 2021. Our recommendations stem from the following three pillars: aggressive expansion outgrowing current demand, stressing margins trend to continue, and short-term non-recurring events that led to the stock price surge.
Beginning with the first pillar, HMG is aggressively expanding in a market characterized by high capacity buildup and decelerating demand, which will pressure its future utilization rates and slow the rise by 1,300 beds, or 70% increase by 2024. Half of this expansion will be in its largest market presence, Riyadh City, which already represented 80% of its 2019 revenues. Looking at past capacity and revenues trend, HMG increased capacity by 470 beds, or 49% increase in 2015-2019. Surprisingly, that high capacity growth was met with a declining revenue of 1.8%. Although the picture was slightly better for the peers group, capacity also outgrew revenue at 44% growth, while revenue grew only by 12%. We attribute this slow pacing demand to decelerating industry growth factors. The first growth factor is government expenditure. And although healthcare the private providers hide following the decline in oil revenue, the industry affecting referred patients' bills pricing negatively and was transformed to fixed pricing for all private hospitals, making it unfeasible for the premium providers, and that's seen in the sharp decline from 2010 to 2019. KSA population growth slowed from 7% to 2% due to the declining fertility rate from 3 to 1.9, and the expat exodus due to labor market reforms. Third is the medical insurance structural growth, where gross written premium growth slowed from a CAGR of 17% to 4%, and also insured life growth entering negative territories after 2016. The pressure of declining insured lives and increasing loss ratio eventually translated into pressure on hospitals, thanks to the oligopolistic nature of the industry, of the medical insurance industry. These three factors fueled the high growth period pre-2019. The apply resulted in the average ROIC of 15%. As these growth factors slowed after 2015 and the additional capacity was still added to the market, the average ROIC deteriorated to 9% in 2019. We believe that premium providers, including HMG, are more vulnerable to macro factors. The segregation of premium and affordable payers ROICs confirms the premium sensitivity to macro factors. That, with the current capacity buildup, will pressure HMG's growth as it aggressively expands.
To the second pillar, as seen in the graph on the left, HMG's revenue per patient dropped caused by the declining government referrals and the increasing insurance pressure. Although the number of patients was increasing, it did not translate into higher revenues. On the other hand, HMG's cost per patient remained relatively constant, despite its attempts to increase cost efficiency. This was mainly because of the increasing expatriates fees, as HMG has 65% expat employees. Since HMG is positioned as a premium provider, it paid 39% of its revenue to its medical staff, the highest in the industry. As of March 2021, the government the labor mobility of expatriates, which will consequently increase the competition over health practitioners, and this will further facilitate HMG's rising operating costs. As can be seen in the graph, we expect the margins to keep a downward pressure in the foreseeable future, as these factors are expected to continue.
Moving on to the third pillar, there are two main events that influenced HMG stock price. First, COVID-19 pandemic, which created new demand for private hospitals depending on their position standpoint. Inpatient-focused hospitals recorded strong margins in Q2 due to the referred COVID-19 patients from the government, while outpatient-focused hospitals recorded strong margins in Q3 due to the deferred patients from the second to the third quarter. Nevertheless, we believe that the COVID-19 effect on the healthcare industry in Saudi Arabia is diminishing, as supported by the sharp decline in critical nationwide. Second, inclusion. On November 2020, MSCI announced the inclusion of HMG stock in the MSCI Global Standard Index. Active investors' purchases drove the stock price to an all-time high of 126 riyals per share 1 day prior to inclusion, while passive investors provided support to the stock price afterwards. We believe that these two non-recurring factors influenced HMG's stock price in the short term, but their effect will be diminished.
Traction recently in the investment community, ESG, starting with the environment and sustainability. HMG is outsourcing its medical waste management to these three companies. These companies dispose of all medical waste. According to World Health Organization, only 15% of the medical waste is hazardous, and the remaining 85% can be recyclable. We believe HMG should put more efforts in assuring that sustainability practices are abided by. On the social side, HMG has both proactive and reactive initiatives. HMG provides fellowship diploma programs and funding medical research competitions, including COVID-19 research. They also recently announced the first Saudi female ambulance team. And finally, regarding governance. Looking at HMG from a governance standpoint, we believe that the board of directors are competent. Considered from different backgrounds. However, the CEO, CFO, and VP of Business Development are in the board, which might limit the board's ability to oversee management. Furthermore, an important area of governance is related party transactions, specifically HMG's relationship with Musk Construction Company, which is chaired by a relative of HMG's major shareholders. 76% of Musk's projects come from HMG, including 8 hospitals and expansions, in addition to 1 new project in the pipeline. Investors should worry about this relationship and conduct more due diligence on these contracts.
Moving forward to the valuation, we arrived at a target price of 85 riyals using a weighted average of 70% DCF and 30% relative valuation. For DCF, we used free cash flow to firm since the capital structure of the firm is changing, with an average WACC of 6.1% and terminal growth of 2.5%. We reached a target price of 86 riyals. As HMG will be opening 4 new hospitals by 2025, this will require an additional capex of 6.2 billion riyals, along with an increase in the working capital. Given that HMG assured a DBO of 70% from 25% to 38% by 2024 to meet the increase in capital requirements. Furthermore, we factored in population by 2030 by assigning a 76% average utilization rate in the terminal year, compared to a 72% in 2018, where there were no recent expansions. Finally, we expect margins to decline, pressured by labor costs, but slightly recover in the terminal year. Regarding relative valuation, we arrived at a target price of 83 riyals, using EV over EBITDA against 7 peers, and given it a 30% weight to reflect the market view in the company.
Additionally, HMG's stock price is 80% based on the present value of growth opportunities. Our reverse engineering analysis indicated that HMG requires an unattainable implied utilization rate of 114% to achieve the market price. In other words, serving 10.3 million patients a year by 2030, compared to only 3 million patients a year in 2019. We ran a Monte Carlo simulation and it supported our conclusion. 93% of the 5,000 trials we ran fall within the cell range. To conclude, aggressive expansion, stressing margins, non-recurring events pushing the stock price up, and unattainable implied utilization rate. This is why HMG is a strong sell. Thank you for listening.
Thank you all for presenting this amazing and informative presentation. And would like now to hear more about your experience with this challenge from the start, from starting the application and forming the team until getting the first place.
So just a heads up, when someone says CFA research talent, they say, oh, definitely since the beginning, I wanted to participate in the CFA research challenge. And when I got the call from Dr. Naji, in the beginning, I was like, you know, considering, but like, I was so excited to join. But let me assure you, in the middle or by the end, you will be rethinking, you'll be like, you know, I would have been chilling. I had so much free time. I'm working 30 hours a day on this CFA research challenge. Just taking the other path. But once you present and you see the outcome, you see the report, you see the presentation, the amount of work you do with your colleagues, trust me, it's an exceptional experience. If you get a chance, don't think twice. Say yes instantly. It's a tremendous learning experience for everyone. Trust me.
So let's take a step back. The CFA challenge, water challenge.
Okay. So it's organized by CFA Institute, the highest respected financial institution globally. It is represented by a team or more than a team, but every team is required to conduct initiating sell-side report, equity sell-side report. So in equity research, you are researching, analyzing company and industry, then valuing it, and writing a report or comment. So along for 4 months, the company was assigned was months since from October to February. We were conducting, analyzing the company and valuing it and reaching that recommendation that showed in the presentation. So that's basically what's required from you, or what's been asked.
Just a small thing I'd like you. This 10-minute presentation was 5 months of excruciating, painstaking work that you have to condense down to 10 minutes.
Don't make it horrible, Rafe. Let's make it fun.
It's love. It's lovely when you see the presentation at the end. You can see your hard work come to life.
Yeah, so I think if any of Dr. Naji's students are here, I think they can relate with the corporate finance project, but on a different scale. But it's on the basic idea of it, it's the same thing. Describing the business, analyzing the industry, and its peers, all of it to finally reach a recommendation, whether it's a buy, hold, or a sell recommendation. And actually, in the research challenge, you will be exposed to similar experience of research analysts. And it's a good experience, and you'll be assigned with an industry mentor, as an investment professional working in Wasaya, the investment arm of Saudi Aramco. And of course, we've got our all-time mentor, Dr. Naji Alshammasi. Thank you.
Since 2 years.
Yeah.
Since junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ali,
I was just doing my job, guys.
You always say that, Victor.
Thank you.
So
the challenges that we faced, of course, everyone now, especially in we saw how the communications between the team members of any project in the university, in any course, you saw that it's a bit hard to work at the same time, put all your efforts while it's online. It's much different. I believe it's harder. So that's one thing. Another challenge that we faced was we didn't learn everything in the courses that we take, especially for this project. There is so much that we needed to learn by ourselves through YouTube, through books, and outside sources, and of course, and industry mentor. For example, relative valuation, we didn't study anything about that, I believe, in any of our courses. So, and many other things, and then on a real life data. That was a bit hard and challenging.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think we met like 5 times.
Yes. And I would like to add, and although it was challenging, we faced difficulties, but we learned a lot. First of all, from each other, from Dr. Naji. One of the things that he told us, I remember at the start, that's really difficult to work with good students or good teammates, which is especially for me and Awadh. قاهر Q&A right now.
Someone wants to ask a question.
Someone wants to answer a question? We'll leave the questions by the end of the discussion. Second, we want to know how the students of the finance students will relate this challenge or the research challenge to their courses, or it will benefit them.
So
I think the best. Go ahead.
So across 4 years being a finance student, you start with these principles of finance, but usually you study these courses alone. Rarely you link addition or such work like this one, equity research. You have to link everything from a market perspective, studying the market, the macro picture, the micro picture, economics, to get very, very deep on evaluation techniques and so on. Making a real life experience of what we have learned across university, but not in one subject, on all of the subjects.
Yeah, look, it's basically like in this competition, you need to understand the company. If you understand the company, that's how you're going to evaluate. So taking all the majors in the business school, for example, finance, accounting, they were capitalizing a lot of their debt. So you need to understand accounting practices to understand how they're applying it. For management, you need to understand how their management economics, you need to understand how the economy is going, so how their future, everything you need to company. You need to understand everything. But by far, I think the closest to this competition, like pure, would be the corporate finance project that we had, which was obviously, I'm saying the closest, but it was like this compared to this.
Yeah, and I think you guys covered how it's related, and you talk about how is it going to benefit you. I think once you have the participation, that's enough. Winning the research challenge would give you an edge, a reputation. Not to mention the amount of learning you will get from the challenge. So, and I remember in one of the job interviews, before completing the challenge maybe 30, 40 minutes, they were asking me, what did you do here? What did you do there? Cost of capital, etc. So I think as Awadh mentioned, in one project you will face many different concepts, the most important ones at least. So you will have something to talk about in the interviews, at least, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Excuses from the students when taking in the course. They usually say that we don't have access, we didn't find all the information about this company, even if it's an indexed company. So how about now we saw a detailed presentation about did you face any problem accessing the information or did you get in contact with a hospital?
Okay, I will take on the hospital. The CFA gave us an access to Refinitiv. And it was a lot of help for us getting some major information from there. And additionally, some equity researches, and especially for AFG Hermes, I believe. It was really informative for us, finding a lot of data about the industry. So it was not really easy to find all of that information. It took us 2 or 3 months to get some sensible information for us. But I believe it gave us if I want to do it again, it will be much easier for me right now. I believe the guys will agree.
All Saudi universities have Bloomberg terminals. So if you know how to use Bloomberg, in our case, because of the remote learning school itself, so we had to find a way to have access to Bloomberg. But I think all universities now have access to Bloomberg, so it would be a good thing to learn how to utilize it. And you'll get all the data with a click, yani.
And it's not just about the data, right? It's many variables. It's your research skills. Definitely, the more you research, the more you'll find. Sometimes we're just assuming something until we find an article or even in the prospectus. I believe the prospectus for HMG was 800 pages. So in that 800 pages, page number 672, 2 lines just mentioned what we were searching for 2 weeks. So it's a lot of research. That's basically how. There's always going to be there. You will never find 100% of the information.
Yeah, but mashallah, you did great work with the team. So we believe that the success of any to win any competition, it depends on the team itself. So how, even with COVID, it made it much harder for you guys to connect and to. You guys, did you have any like team management? Did you align together to come?
Okay, so we didn't use any application, although we were planning on the beginning, but we didn't. We've had a system among us. We meet twice a week on Teams, and we usually don't end the meeting till we get everything figured before, and we divide the work, and so each one of the team should let us know what is he working on, so we don't repeat the same thing.
Yeah, we had a timeline since the beginning. We made a timeline of when we will end a certain part part of the mates. So 2 members will work together on this, 2 members will work together on this. And we would meet, we say meet 2 times. Some weeks we weren't, like it's never as planned, obviously. But we did have a backbone, a structure. We had our timelines when we wanted to complete a certain portion of the report. And we had our team members, some people focused on some people focused on some, because in our case, in the beginning, half of the team was doing, and the other half, it switched. The others who were university, they got jobs, and the other ones are now doing co-op. And so, yeah, we had to designate stuff.
So also another factor that could help in to win any competition for any team, the motivation of the team. So many students decide to go to participate in any competition, but they what motivated you through the gym?
So since taking the course in 2018 or 2019, we were all, I believe all of the team wants, since that moment, to participate in this competition. We were standing in the place as you guys. We attended the Jam team presentation. They were participating in that year competition. So we knew how intense that the work was. We have our expectations of the work, and this is from side, and we are incentivized. And usually in some competition, there are many teams representing the same university, but in this competition, you are representing the university. So you may be, Allah knows, Dr. Naji, what can he do for you, if you are not representing the university well. So that was part of it. Dr. Naji keeps incentivizing us, keeps how they tackle problem. He has many responsibilities this semester, but his guidance was very, very thoughtful.
Adding upon that, you said how in the beginning everyone's excited, and then in the middle everyone goes down. That happened to us many times, especially when we get stuck on a certain part. For example, when we were stuck on the insurance industry, we read so much about it, but we just couldn't crack it until we cracked it, and that's when the motivation bursted in. Okay, that was a big milestone. We finished it. We understand it. Okay, that clearly makes sense. Now we move on. Now we got motivated even more because it made sense even more. So you will get, obviously, you'll be like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know this. Let's just forget it. If you keep pushing, you'll finally crack through and you'll understand. And that will motivate you even more because you'll be like, I spent so much time and now I understand.
So as you mentioned before that, all of you or many students bail down from participate because of the pressure they have. So how did you guys manage the pressure between this challenge and also your busy life?
I think in the beginning of the challenge, 5 to 6 weeks after the semester began. So I started working on several projects for the university early on. So I finished, I think, 3 to 4 projects early. And when the time came for the challenge, I was more focused on the research challenge. However, when I graduated and got a job, it wasn't as يعني, because if I'm going back home at 6 or 7 p.m., what time left on the day to work? But we tried to allocate more work to people who have more free time, and that actually switched, because in the beginning, myself and Rafe and Ali were in the university, while Awadh was doing his co-op. In the second half, it was the opposite. Myself and Rafi got jobs, and Awadh and Ali got back to the university. So we went back and forth, dividing the work, actively changing the amount of work.
In the beginning, it was fine, but by the end, we kind of understand more of the stuff. Everyone is on the page. The biggest thing is you need a team that is understanding. You need people, like all of us are like best friends at this time. Like we understand who is busy, who is not, and people who knew they weren't took on more responsibility because they knew that others aren't available. And it's teamwork. It's not the school project thing, like, okay, that's not my work, I did my work. Over here, it's like, if you have time, you look at others' work, or you do the next part or something like this. That's how we work by the end.
Okay, thank you guys. Now we'll open the door for questions from our audience. Just let us know in the chat or by raising your hand. We already have a question for Dr. Naji. Can you hear us, Dr. Naji?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. So there is someone who said, what the basis do you choose your students for the CFA challenge? At what basis do you choose them?
Choose to get asked questions since a long period of time. Usually I ask the questions. I don't get asked much, but thank you. That's a very good question. See, the CFA Research Challenge to me is something, it's an activity that is, I look forward to every year. Can't imagine how much the course, the corporate finance class is influenced by this competition. A lot from the students. I learn the area that I teach accordingly. Every year, I start the semester by looking for talent to participate in the students, mashallah. But when it comes to participating in the CFA Research Challenge, just as you learned from our champions, let me remind them, when I called everyone, you've been selected. Maybe I won't reveal all the secrets because this has to be a secret part of it. No, but seriously, the thing I've been selected to participate is nothing near to what you did in the class project, which to many students is very tough. The students now know in the park. And I tell them two things. Working with me closely is no fun. Okay. Very demanding. I have very high expectations. Secondly, just as Abdulmohsin mentioned, the working with good students, with champions, is not easy because every one of them has his own way of doing things. He likes to work in his own pace. He has his own way of looking at things. So this makes it very hard to work with these people. So before knowing, I look to different things. I will not talk about this team in particular, but in general, the team, for every team member and he doesn't complain much when we're working in the project. This is a very important thing. Okay. Of skills and different students that complement each other. You will find somebody who is, all are good, for example, in modeling, but there is someone who's really good in modeling, outstanding. Okay, there is someone who's excellent in who am I talking about? In each one, you will find someone who's very good he's a very good leader. He can galvanize the troops. He can put them together. He can motivate. He can put unite them under one goal when pressure amounts. You will find someone who's really good in analysis, and he can connect things together, put things that seemingly are unrelated. And you will find, I'm sure the guys, I can see Rafe, he can know what I'm talking about, Abdulaziz and Awadh and the other guys. But seriously, I'm just very proud of these guys. I can't just tell you how much I'm proud. So much. Sometimes I get credit for things I didn't do, and this is one of them. So many hours, countless hours, 24 hours. They give me drafts. They get very harsh comments, rewrites, redos, all the time. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And the morals are down. Then they pick up and they continue. Such an amazing team. And every time they remember in the first draft they gave me, I was so upset. And then, like in 2 days, I was, wow, how could they, short period of time? In 2 days, unbelievable. So, thank you. Thank you, guys.
I think the harsh comments have their way.
Yeah. They are the key.
Yeah, you know how we do all things in 2 days.
And there is one extra thing, although they didn't have much of it this year, a lot of donuts.
Oh, yes.
If you are in the KFUPM, so I think Dunkin' Donuts will be your friend every day.
No, not just any Dunkin' Donuts. Dr. Naji's Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, so you have a special one, Dr. Naji. Please let us know so we can go there.
It's for champions.
So I think we have a. If you can just, he wants to speak.
Congratulate the great team along with Dr. Naji for Fahd. My question again, what would you do differently? In other words, what mistakes you would avoid? Thank you.
Well, that is a very good question. I think some parts of the project we were rushing in to finalize some parts just to get it done, and actually we realized afterwards that we skimmed through. One important point that I'll give much more focus on next time is sorting the data properly. So I remember after submitting the first draft, while the last 2 days before the deadline, I just realized we're missing a lot of data. For example, this data the revenue for hospitals that were missing in our Excel sheets. So if I'll do it again, I'll gather all the data from the beginning. Although Dr. Naji is always saying that, but I'll give more focus on that. And I'll not rush things through. If you have any other answers, guys.
Organization, even though Dr. Naji said from the beginning that it will be messy, we were like, no, we're organized. We have a Google Drive, we have folders, and everyone is a master of the final file. I'm telling you, by the end, it's chaos, especially when it's time, if time management is not done well. And I believe in our first submission, our time management wasn't that good by the end. 59 was the due date, the time to submit.
It's only the last time. It was always 11:58.
But yeah, time management and organization, that's two main things we would definitely focus more on.
Okay, so we have another question from Talal Shahel.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. فخورين فيكم جميعا يا شباب. جملتونا صراحة. I have two questions. The first question is that you participated in this CFA research chapter ranked among Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and so on, right?
Yes.
Is that what was, let's say, the most outstanding characteristic of your analysis in comparison to the other universities and other teams?
Well, Dr. Naji.
Slide 11.
Yes. We don't have a clear picture about other teams, to be honest. Yeah. We didn't see when the time of the competition presentation time, but the comment we still receive at the till now is that we did better analysis on the industry side, on the understanding the dynamics and the positioning of the company. Yeah, that's it. But actually, we don't have a clear answer for that because we don't for other things.
But personally, we think our ROIC analysis was Dr. Naji really liked that. Anyone that mentioned the MSCI inclusion as well. That's once again, yes. You see, the more you research, the more you find.
May you guys just show the slides? If you can.
Yep.
Slide 11, the lovely.
Dr. Naji remembers the slide.
May you just explain it like in a few seconds?
Go on, Awadh.
So this slide segregates the return on invested capital. Two types of healthcare providers, the premium providers and affordable providers. The premium providers includes HMG and Della and the other players, and affordable includes Hamadi and other players. So we talked across our presentation that the premium providers are built to macro factors, meaning in the good times, they do worse. And this is shown. In the good times, pre-2016, they did higher return on invested capital. And when the slowdown comes, they did worse than the others. And it's showing in the... So that was the point of this chart.
Okay, we have Do you have any other comment on his question, or can we move to the next question?
Yes, move on, please.
Okay, so here's Umar bin Huwaimel from orientation student. He's saying that to be majored in finance. So what is your advice to him in the finance journey to end up in a research CFA challenge?
I mean, that's a hard question.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
all the courses matter. Especially, I'll say accounting courses, economics courses, and finance courses. All of them matter so much. Don't study anything as if it was just for an exam. It's all linked, and once you find this link, you can benefit from each course in the next course. When you study economics 101 and understand it very well, the next course will become easier, and the finance courses will be easier. The same thing goes accounting. If you understand the financial statements, how it's built, what is the relation between all the accounts in the financial statements, it will help you so much when you're analyzing them later on in finance courses. So it's all linked. Start with the basics, accounting, economics, and then finance.
And to add on Abdulaziz, what Abdulaziz said, that every course in your curriculum is put there for a reason. I used to argue with Dr. Naji about this course and has no that much benefits for us as finance students. But in the end, when you start working on real world problems, you see how everything, as Abdulaziz said, is linked. How every course you have taken, you will use it somehow. If it's not from the knowledge side, on the skills side. Besides that, I personally see that much by following or be up to date with the markets events. Just following the market news, checking Bloomberg news and Wall Street Journal, international news. So by time
you want to understand, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I understand how what's happening in the world and the
YouTube,
markets.
guys, YouTube helps a lot. Trust me. Simple videos explain topics. If you're reading an article, okay, this happened. Okay, what is this? YouTube explain it in 2 minutes. Okay, now you understand what happened, at least in the market. One more thing is, I think all of us in the CFA team, we had the previous curriculum of finance. They changed it after us, I believe, and I think it's a bit more improved. They're adding when I was doing my bachelor's, but yeah, I think the new curriculum has a bit more courses, slightly different courses, which will definitely help you even more than us.
The last two questions from Ziad Al-Askar and Talal after Ziad, inshallah.
First of all, mashallah, congratulations for taking CFA MENA. I have a question specifically to Awadh. I don't know if in your guys, in your analysis, have you tackled the patients that is, for example, soldiers, that is, they will not go to either public or private sectors. They will go to certain hospitals. And the second question is, what is your forecast about the stock? Although you said it's what you see in stock and Habib, like 3 to 3 years or maximum 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziad, for asking. The first part, I understand that you're talking about soldiers, so the army patients going to Al Habib. I think the one of the largest government facilities is the military cities, medical cities. So they are usually 100% goes there. Habib, and as we said in our presentation, that Habib and premium providers stopped taking or reduced significantly the government referred patients because it's now unfeasible for them. Unlike previous years, and in the old good times, just you are a hospital, give the bill to the government, and they will pay it, no matter how much. Premium providers that has state-of-art feasible to treat government referred patients. From the second part, which is the evaluation, we build our thesis around the laid down these reasons, and we based our valuation on these reasons, that their margins are stressed and their utilization rates will be pressured as a result of the saturation in the market, and we reflect all that in our analysis. We are not concerned with that, and to be honest, as an equity research analyst, your job is to give a fair value of the asset or the company. There are many events that could push the price up in the short term. Market enthusiasm, like happening in the Saudi market now. The MSI inclusion that pushed the price up in November and so on. So this is our view. If something happened or a fundamental update on their fundamentals that could push the valuation and hence our target price, we will, that could be a reason. But since till the moment, there is no fundamental change that makes us change our recommendation or our valuation of the company.
Okay, this is a question from Talal Shell for Abdulaziz Al-Shafe. Is having a CFA L1 gave you an edge during the competition, and would you recommend having it period the competition or prior the competition?
Okay, having the CFA level 1 or passing the CFA level 1 exam would give you the basics, because the CFA level 1 covers several topics that is related to the research journey. For example, in the CFA exam, you'll have to study economics, finance, accounting, the same thing. A lot of similar courses to the ones that you're taking in the university. Yes, it helped me a lot. It strengthened my background in finance. Participants in the challenge didn't take the exam, and that's completely fine, because you will study most of the CFA level 1 curriculum in the university. So I would recommend taking the CFA exam for sure, but it's not a must. If you got the chance to go ahead and take the CFA exam afterwards. If you can take it before, it's also all right. It's beneficial, but it's not prerequisite for participating here.
Just thinks that you have a CFA, because participants of the 2021, I think in the beginning they got $500. So even the CFA Association is assuming that you're coming into this competition without a CFA. So you will be motivated, and then you'll take the CFA exam.
Okay, we'll conclude after that. From Saad Al-Qarawi. So can you speak now, Saad?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to congratulate you guys on the great championship that you got. and have been through the process of the applying the knowledge that you have been studying through your would you advise if they want to?
I would suggest you participate in the research challenge, but if that wasn't if you haven't got the opportunity, you may build a model for a company, analyze a company at your own time. Of course, mentorship and support with from the CFA society, having the resources that the CFA Institute give would be much better. Although not having any of that will not be an obstacle. You can go and analyze any company you choose. For example, many of my colleagues within their last year in the university have analyzed several companies. And I know many of my friends who've studied, analyzed cement companies, agricultural companies, etc. You can find a company that is in an interesting sector for you that you can understand and analyze the company. Read sell-side reports about the company to understand how to analyze it. You may also take the FMVA or Wall Street Prep. That will help you so much with your modeling abilities. If you have more
sharing your